Democracy is alive and well in the state of Arizona. I regret to inform you all that the election in the state of Arizona is being fortified. It's being fortified in a manner eerily reminiscent of the 2020 election. This is only going to be the most legitimate and well-run election in the history of the state of Arizona. It will be nothing more, nothing less. It is so heavily fortified that 20% of the I guess you'd call polling places? Yeah, because they're, okay. 20% of the polling places, I had to get my facts straight, in Maricopa County, which is by far the largest county by population in Arizona. That's where the capital, Phoenix, is. And people are having to wait hours in line to cast their votes, and even when they do that, they're told, you know what, hey, take your ballot. I know we can't scan it into the system right now, but just put it in this box, and we'll count it later, we promise. That's what voters in the in the state of Arizona are being told by poll workers. I guess I should have taken a cough drop before embarking on this, but this is breaking news. I've been following it all day. I didn't want to jump on it immediately, but I think that this has been going on for enough hours now that it's pretty well confirmed. This is what's happening. What will be the effects of this? Well, you're going to see less people vote on election day than otherwise would have. That is the effect here. This is suppressing the election day vote. Now, I'm not saying that that's deliberate, YouTube. I would never accuse Democrats of voter suppression. I would only accuse Republicans of voter suppression. Okay, so that's just for the sake of YouTube. That is what I'm saying here. But inadvertently, this fortification of the elections in Maricopa County, Arizona, are leading to a suppression of the election day vote, which, of course, leans heavily in favor of the Republican Party. We all know this about election day votes now. It didn't used to be this way, but this is how it's been starting in 2020. And so, therefore, if not as many people are able to vote on election day, well, you're just going to have less Republican vote. It's that simple. Furthermore, this system of taking the ballots in Maricopa County that have been filled out but not scanned in and putting them in boxes to be counted later creates a bit of a chain of custody problem, because we don't really know. There's no standardized procedure for this as far as I know, and those boxes of ballots, we don't really know where they go, and when they arrive at their final destination, we don't necessarily know that they're the same boxes of ballots. It's kind of it is a black box system. Back in 2018, there's a notorious video of ballots being brought to the Broward County, the Broward County Supervisor of Elections, on the night of November whatever, when that election was, and they were being brought to the Supervisor of Elections to be counted. The ballots were filled out at polling places, and also were, I think, some mail-in ballots too. They were brought in official vehicles, but also we were seeing vehicles that were not official, that I've talked about countless times on this channel. Personal civilian vehicles, private vehicles that were filled with boxes of ballots that were being unloaded and taken into the Supervisor of Elections building. And so there is a chance that has now been created in Maricopa County, Arizona, for something very similar. I'm not saying that will happen. I'm saying that it can happen, that the opportunity has now been created. It's been manufactured, you might say. And so because of that, I'm updating my predictions from yesterday. I now believe that Blake Masters will not win the Senate. Blake Masters, if he was going to win, it was going to be pretty close. And with this, there is enough of a gray area for Kelly to overcome, let's say, any potential lead that Masters may have taken. With the reduced election day vote, Masters is simply not going to make it up. Now, I hope I'm wrong. But to me, that's what I see here. I see Lake is still going to win because she had a pretty decent lead. I think that Lake will still become the next governor of Arizona. But Blake Masters, who is in my opinion, the best person running for Senate this cycle, he is not going to win. They have successfully blocked him. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying that there's anything illegitimate about this election at all. This is the way the system works. This is democracy at work that we're watching, and this is what democracy looks like. So I want everyone to know just how much I support democracy, and I believe that the Maricopa County will count every vote, no matter where that vote came from, no matter when it was filled out. The state of Pennsylvania is now saying that they will accept ballots all the way up until November 14th, so the election day has now been delayed. Not exactly sure how that works. They just moved election day from November 8th to November 14th. Of course, you're not going to be allowed to vote in person then. You're only allowed to vote in person today in Pennsylvania. But if you were a mail-in person and you see the results tonight and it goes, oh my gosh, Dr. Roz and Doug Mastriano won, well, you can hurry up, slap a mail-in ballot in the mailbox or drop it off, and it will be counted, and therefore we'll be able to do away with that nasty Republican victory. And hey, that's just democracy at work, am I right? People look at the TV, they see, I don't like this result, I don't like the way things turned out, and they go, you know what, let's put some more votes in there so that we can get the candidate we want. That is democracy. It's people choosing. Some people get to choose who our leaders are. That is what it means. Democracy is ruled by the people. The democracy doesn't specify which people. Am I right? So this is all very democratic. Now, I'm less certain in Pennsylvania that they will be able to overcome Oz's lead. I think that it's going to be harder to convince people that John Fetterman was duly elected because of just the problems that Fetterman has had. He's not a believable victor. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to try. You have Mark Elias now, who has been retained by the Fetterman campaign. Mark Elias is a pretty well-known Democrat hitman. I respect the grind when it comes to Mark Elias because he is willing to use the law and twist it and do whatever he can to achieve his ends. He is the kind of lawyer that, frankly, the GOP needs. And so if there's any way to get Fetterman into office, Mark Elias will find a way. And so the Democrats by no means have given up on Fetterman. Not in the least. And if Fetterman comes anywhere near, if there's anything close to a Fetterman victory, Shapiro is going to be in office. So I think at this point, pretty clear Josh Shapiro is going to win. Fetterman, I still find that hard to believe, but if there's any chance that Fetterman's winning, Shapiro's in for certain. Now, other than those two states, I haven't seen anything fishy. Everywhere else, actually, there was a little bit of a blip from the local news in Detroit about people who trying to go in to vote and being told, oh, you already voted by mail, and I'm saying, no, I didn't vote by mail, and people having to fight for their right to vote. But I haven't seen anything more on that. We'll see if anything comes of it. At this point, what I'm seeing is Arizona and secondarily Pennsylvania. Those are where we have some fortification. So, with that said, I guess we're looking at, instead of the low being like 53 for the Republicans in the Senate, I think the low at this point will probably be 52. Because I was counting Masters as somebody who I was pretty confident was going to be able to pull it out, and my confidence level in Masters has dropped significantly as a result of today's developments. So as of now, candidates who I am confident are going to win, because let's be clear, the states that I thought were on the edge, that were competitive, were Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire. Those are the 5 I'm really watching tonight for the Senate. Laxalt seems to be doing pretty well, and he has a history there. He's been elected there statewide before. I haven't seen any issues with Nevada, although Nevada is a screwy state. But as of now, I think that he's going to be able to skate to victory. Walker, because of the runoff system in Georgia, Walker may go to a runoff, which would be unfortunate, but as of now things can change between now and a runoff. That's why they're kind of risky. If, let's say, the Republicans do really well elsewhere, that could rally Democrats like it did after, after 2020, the Democrats won after winning the presidency, supposedly. So I won't get into the runoff yet. Discounting the runoff, whether Walker gets over 50% or not, I think that Walker's total is going to be above Warnock. So I'll leave it at that for now. Oz, it's tough with what's coming in now with Pennsylvania. They still have any confidence in Oz. And then you've got Bolduc, who is not a perfect candidate for New Hampshire, in my opinion. But Hassan is not a very strong candidate. Honestly, at this point, you take out Oz and Masters, that really shakes things up. You put those two into deep question, and they're going to be under question for days, if not weeks. We will not know the results in those two states for a long time. That is going to make a big difference in the Senate. So at this point, gosh, Laxalt's there. I mean, if Oz doesn't hold on, remember, the Republicans are back to 49, because that is a currently Republican-held seat. So if Oz loses, that's the GOP going down to 49. Then you have to look for pickups elsewhere. So those states would be New Hampshire, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada. Those are the potential Republican pickups. And Washington State, talked about maybe, that's like an out-of-left-field thing that people might not be expecting that could happen, but I'm not going to count on it at this point. So things aren't looking great. I'm much less bullish on the GOP than I was yesterday and for the previous few weeks. So, on that note, I will be watching a bunch of different people. I'll be watching the Viva Barn stream. We'll be watching People's Pundit. Probably tune into the Blaze for a bit tonight on election coverage. So, there's plenty of people, great, non-corporate media that you can watch for good election coverage. So, I would encourage everybody who's interested to go do that. It's fun, it's like it's like the Super Bowl. So, with that said, I will see you folks back here tomorrow.